With the January 2020 Forbidden List fast approaching, seriously, there's only so many days left in January, players have been perceiving certain cards to be coming off the Forbidden List. In this video, we're going to be talking about the top cards that can come off the Forbidden List, as well as their probability. Before we get deeper into this video, if you guys want to see more content, then go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Seriously, YouTube is holding me by the balls here. Thumbs ups definitely help. And if you guys would like to, share this with a friend so he can thumbs it up. I only have 2 thumbs. You guys could definitely have to help. The first card is one of my favorite staple cards in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! In Pot of Avarice. Now, Pot of Avarice made its debut in the Elemental Energy set, and its effect reads, target 5 monsters into the graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and then draw 2 cards. It's almost like Pot of Greed, but better. And that's actually why this card was forbidden. It was generic. It allowed you to shuffle in multiple cards from your graveyard into your deck and give you 2 free cards. A fun ruling about this card is that if your opponent were to get rid of one of your targets, like with DD Crow or whatnot, then Pot of Avarice would fizzle and you wouldn't shuffle the cards into your deck and you wouldn't draw cards. Now I think Pot of Avarice is a very balanced card. While it still has the same effect, it's not as generic. Kind of like how cards like Monster Reborn were really powerful back in the day and don't really have that same type of impact now. Pot of Avarice will help some of the lower level decks to become a little bit more competitive and is amazing for decks that revolve around synchros, because a lot of times you need those synchro monsters back into your extra deck. Ultimately, I think that Pot of Avarice won't have the same impact it had once before, kind of like the Monster Reborn effect. Nevertheless, I think that Pot of Avarice has maybe a 20% chance of coming off the Forbidden List, so I wouldn't get too hyped about this card, even though it's becoming more and more balanced. Next is one of the most controversial cards in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! In Maxi. Now, Maxi made its debut in the Storm of Ragnarok set, and effect reads, discard this card from your hand and proceed to win the game. No, but in all seriousness, you can discard this card from your hand and draw a card every single time your opponent special summons. The reason why this card was banned was pretty simple. Players would make huge boards and then Maxi the opponent when they want to counter swarm. The card, in theory, prevented players from swarming, but once players that swarmed realized that, hey, I can do that, that's when the card became extremely dangerous. It became a game of who opened Maxi as to a game of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that's what the game should have been about. Now I think Maxi is in a different situation, kind of like Pot of Avarice. We have decks that don't special summon that are extremely competitive in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game. Do I think that Maxi deserves to be off the list? Oh no, God no. Why would I say such a thing? But it's a card that players are speculating to come because the OCG does have it at 3. I do think that there's a 5% chance that Maxi does come off the Forbidden List because there are so many competitive decks that would make Maxi pretty much useless, meaning that you'd have to think twice about playing this powerful card. And let's face it, if Maxi does come to 3, I'm playing True Draco. There's no way I'm playing any special summoning deck. Dragon Rulers are one of the most dominant forces in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Making his debut in the Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy set, these huge level 7 monsters would plop themselves to the side of the field seemingly for free to make the ever so powerful, indestructible Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack. Okay, that card's not powerful now, but that's really a testament to power creep. The Dragon Rulers were banned because of number 95 Galaxy Dark Matter Dragon. Being able to put 200,000 damage on the board is a little insane, but Dark Matter itself is banned. That actually leaves an opening for Dragon Rulers to come off the list. And also the fact that Dragon Rulers are a 7-year-old strategy, there's been 2 master rules and a revision since these cards have been off the list. I don't think that Dragon Rulers would make much of a splash other than helping Dragon and Elemental based decks, I guess. This ain't the Avatar, I don't think that'll help. Ultimately, I feel that Dragon Rulers have a very low probability. If we were to talk about a specific Dragon Ruler, I think Tempest maybe has a 15% chance of going to 3. The other Dragon Rulers have a 10% chance of coming off the list, but in total, maybe about 5% for all of them to come to 1 at some capacity. One of Mai's signature cards in Harpies Feather Duster came in the Stairway of the Destined Duel video game. Its effect allows you to destroy all spell and trap cards on your opponent's side of the field, and that's pretty much it. That's all the text. It doesn't have anything else. Now, the reason why players are speculating this card to come off the Forbidden List is because the OCG has it, but TCG players don't quite understand that the OCG and the TCG are completely different card games. Last time I checked, they don't even have Raigeki. Like, would you really want to live in a world without the Raigeki song? I don't think that Harpies Feather Duster deserves to be off the list in any capacity. It's actually very fair where it's at right now, at 0, where no one can take advantage of destroying all your opponent's spell and trap cards. There's nothing wrong with back row heavy slow decks. They already get overwhelmed by other strategies right now anyway, so I mean, what's the point of bringing Harpies Feather Dusters back? Ultimately, I do predict a 5% chance. I mean, I wish I could predict a percentage lower, but I mean, putting it at 3 or 2% is what it is. Return from a Different Dimension is the epitome of power creep. This card was banned because it can special summon multiple monsters to the side of the field. I know a mechanic that can special summon multiple monsters to your side of the field without being a trap card. Return from a Different Dimension can definitely come off the forbidden list. It's a trap card, it's slow, it only special summons from a specific spot, and did I mention that it's slow? I think that there's a 10% chance that this card will come off the list, even though it's not that great of a card. The reason why I say this is because Konami is typically conservative with bringing cards off the forbidden list, even if they don't really deserve to be on the forbidden list. So I wouldn't expect this card to come off, but still, it's like, I mean, there are millions of other cards that literally do Different Dimension. Like, playing Yugioh special summons more monsters than Different Dimension can. That's really power creep in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, you know I have to appease my hero glue eaters. No, but seriously, A Hero Lives from the Generation 4 set is probably the last hero card on the forbidden list. And I think everybody's looking at it after Stratos and Malicious coming off the forbidden list with a pretty crazy eye. The reason why this card was limited was to limit the consistency of heroes. But now they just keep getting more search cards. I mean, their latest cards are search cards. Like, Sunriser searches Miracle Fusion, Liquid Man gets you into more cards. Like, I feel like this card can come off the list, but the reason why I wouldn't be completely sold on it is because there are some niche strategies that run a very small elemental hero engine to make some weird FTK-like board. And A Hero Lives is the catalyst to do it. Now, this card isn't terrible. I mean, it could come to 3 if those niche FTK cards were hit, but I do only see a 20% chance of this card coming off the list in any capacity. Perform Age Damage Juggler is arguably one of the best cards in the Clash of Rebellion set. Now, this is one of the most underrated hand traps in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe it's because burn isn't that great, but you can actually discard this card from your hand to the graveyard. If your opponent were to burn you with a card effect, you can negate that activation and destroy it. That's its worst effect. Its next effect allows you to discard it to reduce the next battle damage you would take to 0. Its next effect, and its best effect by far, is to banish this card from the graveyard to add a Perform Age monster from your deck to your hand. Now, this card was once one of the most busted cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! It helped fuel a deck called Pepe. Pepe is Perform Age, Perform Power, one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! The first pendulum deck to make multiple negation boards and just say, don't worry about playing Yu-Gi-Oh! It's all on me, G. Kind of like a bar tab. With that being said, we are years removed from that format, and some of those cards still are on the forbidden list. Perform Age Damage Juggler has been coming off the list from 1 to 2 on our last list, and now I feel that there's a 90% chance it comes off to 3. It's almost a no-brainer. It hasn't been doing anything inside of the formats. It's a very good card, but has niche situations. I think it will be something to play with once it does come completely off the list, though. Pantheism of the Monarch only has 1 print inside of its very own structure deck, and effect 3, discard 1 Monarch spell or trap card to draw 2 cards. You can also banish this card from your graveyard, reveal 3 Monarch spell or trap cards, and your opponent adds 1 of them to your hand. Now, the reason why this card was banned is because Konami hates Monarchs. Seriously, free all the Monarchs. No, but the real reason why this particular Monarch card was limited is because Monarchs were just a really good deck. It was a deck that needed to be checked because it was starting to be played in other strategies, and kind of like the Orcust effect we were having now. With the limitation of Pantheism the Monarch, it not only killed the deck, but it killed all of the hybrid variants in the process. Now, 4 years have passed since Monarchs have been one of the better forces in Yu-Gi-Oh! This card can completely come off the list, and I don't think it would change much to the meta. Granted, Monarch players would have a consistency piece, but what's the point of having a consistency piece when you're holding a Nokia in your hand? It's still a brick. And with Pantheism off the list, we can almost guarantee that Ether would come off the list to some capacity. Its effect allows you to tribute summon this monster by tributing one tribute summon monster. That's a lot of tribute summons. A lot of tribute summons. When this card is tribute summoned, you can send 2 Monarch spell or trap cards from your deck to the graveyard to special summon a level 6, or special summon a Monarch? It's one of those requirements, okay? It's like special summon a Monarch to your side of the field. The monster is returned to your hand during the end phase, and Ether's effect can be activated during your opponent's turn as well. The reason why Ether was banned was, you know, to hit Monarchs. That's pretty much it. Like, Ether was stupid good, especially since Karaz was like the best form of disruption, even if it did give your opponent valuable resources. Again, I think that this card can come to 3, mainly because it came to 2 last list, so I'm going to give it the same probability as Perform a Damage Juggler, 90%. Look at Amber in the background. She's still wondering about Tribute Summon a Tribute Summon monster. It's Tribute a Tribute Summon monster. It's that simple. Come on, it's not rocket science.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's you tribute a Tribute Summon monster. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like. It really helped me as a content creator. Like, seriously, it almost unfucks the algorithm by you guys liking this video. Also, be sure to share it with a friend if you thought it was that cool. If you guys would like to see another list, the top cards that players want on the Forbidden list as well as their probabilities, then go ahead and like this video yet again. Like, don't second like it, just make sure you like it, all right? Make sure it's blue. I hope you guys are having a great day like I am.